This book is unique in specific ways and very normal in others. It is uselessly frozen in contradictions, while potentially incredible and progressive in possibility. I'll start with what is normal, but first know that when I write about this book, it is pretty much interchangeable with myself and vice versa. This book and I are the same. I wrote it and it is about my beliefs. You should also know that one of my beliefs is that every human being has powerful connections and similarities to every other human being. I believe that whoever you are made up of the same elements and materials in the same fashion that I am, so in turn share a great deal with me. I believe we share ideas, knowledge, desires, fears, weakness, potential, and hopes. I believe life as a human being is a universal experience in many ways that we should not ignore but currently do. Due to that connection between us, you should look at this book in the same way I do, relating to self. I know this book may not relate to you as strongly as it relates to me, since I wrote it, but you should think about its relation to you anyway. After all, you are the one reading it for you. I know I already wrote that. Get used to the repetition now, because it doesn't go away for good reason. This book is normal in the sense that it has letters that form words, which form sentences that line up in a certain way, in order to express and share thought. This book is a book through and through. It will always be a book and does not want to be anything else. It is what it is. It cannot be something greater than what it is. It can only be greater understood and applied. The way that the book, remember a human wrote it, is unique will be quite obvious, if it isn't already. The book is not like most in terms of its ideas, and its agenda, not to mention the writing and grammar. Unlike other books, this book makes no attempt at perfection, and in fact I recognize many of its mistakes. But this book does believe in and shoot for recognizable improvement. This book is flawed. It makes several mistakes on a regular basis. It does have ideas that were written to serve a purpose, but there is no standard to follow, no ultimate goal to accomplish, and no teachable lesson to be learned. Some books entertain, while others try and teach something. Well, you probably won't find this book very entertaining, in the laugh and cry just to laugh and cry sense. There are no characters, or funny moments, or satisfying conclusions. This book also is not meant to teach you something. It is not a guide, there aren't steps you can follow, and there is no certainty that anything will be gained by reading it. In fact, this book will not and cannot teach you anything. Seems pretty pointless then, huh? Well, it isn't, because it just means that the book is about something that can't be understood or defined by me. The book is meant to help you realize what only you can realize, and again, I do not and can never fully comprehend. So why the heck do you need me then? Well, the truth is you don't, but as humans we often depend on one another, so when one of us communicates an idea to another, which the recipient believes, it gives them reassurance. Now, whether you just accept or think honestly about what you believe, your beliefs still motivate you. So, whether or not my ideas do anything for you really is not up to me. Anyone could read this book and find meaning in it, and it's possible that anyone could benefit from that meaning, but possible meaning and benefit are relative. It is not a cookbook that shows you how to bake a cake. Not everyone who understands is supposed to get the same result. Everyone who participates would have a similar, but obviously different cake, and no one cake would be any better or worse than any other. A portion of you, probably most, will never even understand the ingredients because you don't care about making your cake enough. Still a large number of others won't get any further from collecting the ingredients, but not respecting them enough to balance them, so will end up at some point outside of cake baking. The rest of you, however, will start spending more time in the kitchen, and even though you know you'll probably never finish that cake, you'll still genuinely work on it. Yeah, that was a bit too much with the cake analogy, but the point is that you cannot get something without effort. The important part is that you realize you get out what is, will be, and was put in. You very well may disagree with my recipe of humanity, or that it has never moved in a truly progressive direction, but I assure you that the ingredients are the same. No matter what you think so far, let me give you a disclaimer about ideas. Your ideas, my ideas, and all ideas. So, like all books, this one is full of words. Like all words, these ones can lead to the production of, and/or recollection of ideas. And, like all ideas, these ones don't accomplish anything either. Ideas are great. They can be a catalyst for change. However, ideas don't actually do anything on their own. They float around. They come and go. Sometimes they even stick around until we do something. Many times we foolishly credit ideas for action, but it is that, doing something, that really matters. We've all known someone who has given us an idea before. If someone gives you the idea to eat healthier, and you start eating healthier, then you deserve 100% of the credit and benefits. Yes, the idea helped start it, but it only helped because you considered it and then changed through your actions. The idea to eat healthier in order to be healthier isn't exactly brilliant to begin with. But, even if it was, it is still just an idea. Other ideas that we often improperly live for are ideas that are unknown, unrealized, unquestioned, and/or instantly satisfying. This includes ideas about money, love, death, the supernatural, social systems, others, and ourselves. Yet, people spend a great deal of money, time, and effort for ideas like these, for things they already know or assume to know. So, why do we put so much faith and stake in ideas, when real action is what really matters? We falsely credit our own and others' ideas because it is easy and, seemingly, safe. Ideas are infinite and easily created, whereas proactive change is extremely rare, so therefore seems scary. Don't get me wrong, ideas are amazing and extremely important for us capable of creating them, but they mean nothing alone. Realize this while reading this book, as well as while living as a human being. At most, this book can be an influence that helped lead to change, but like every thought or idea, it can't actually change anything. If I told you to run head first into the wall and you did, I don't deserve any blame. If you were running head first at a wall, and I yelled stop and you did, I don't deserve any credit. As an adult human being, you have to take full responsibility for your existence. Otherwise, there will always be an extent to which your existence is no more than an idea. So just as if you never knew of this book, you can only teach, you can only show, and you can only change on your own. I don't want you to read this book just to read it. I want you to spend the time to relate the words to your existence. Don't just think about what you might gain or what the book means. Think about each sentence and each idea, and what it means to you. What it means in comparison to your being, your personal human experience, what you know as well as what you think. Do not let yourself just read this book. Care about the information enough to not try and finish, but instead take the time, whatever it may be, to honestly understand every word/meaning. I ask that you read every section at least twice. I know, I'm a very demanding author, but you are reading this book for you, so don't shortchange yourself. Many times people brag about how quickly they finished a book. Oh, have you read that one? I couldn't put it down. I finished it in one day. Well, that is a mistake, because many human books, words, and sayings are worth a great deal more than evoking passing emotions and thoughts. I realize that some books are meant to just entertain or teach facts. But even with those books, you could spend the time questioning, understanding, and relating the information to yourself. One day is not nearly enough time to get anything out of this book. It does not have to be cherished or read every day, but honor the fact that the information is not easily transferable. Understanding what it really means to you may take several readings, and honoring it may take much more than just reading, so don't get ahead of yourself, and take your time. With that being stated, before we even get to this humanity business, I have to include this disclaimer. In this book, I write quite frequently about you, since it is obviously guided towards whomever is reading it. I use words such as self, individuality, honesty, progression, possibility, etc., because they are the appropriate words. However, I realize that many words alone can inspire and encourage you, simply because they tap into natural hopes, desires, and emotions. I must warn of this, and advise you to be cautious of it and fight to avoid it, or correct it if it occurs. Sharing an idea that makes one happy is completely counterproductive and alternative to the purpose of ideas. Ideas come from and are meant to evoke thought. Emotions, of course, often spawn from thought, but those thoughts are too often very simple and extremely subjective. I want you to gather a deep, objective, and fair understanding of every idea before you connect it to how it makes you feel. If I told you that I think you are great, It would probably automatically make you feel good because of what you define as your greatness. Oh, he thinks I'm handsome and funny. You know, he's right. Instead of emoting / concluding automatically, however, you should question, analyze, and come to an understanding of the words and statements as they are. Actively keep this in mind as you read. I genuinely ask that you read at a slower pace than you typically would and reread sections as often as you see fit. If human progression were a race, we'd all be somewhere near the start anyway. Actually take your time, think about, and care about the ideas in your head. Understand each word, sentence, and section in context to the subject. If you aren't willing and or don't want to take yourself seriously, you may as well go watch paint dry, and give this book to someone who might. I hope that you give it a fair chance, and teach yourself a great deal by considering it, however. I have every sensible reason to believe that you will be very glad you did. And if you are honest enough about your connection to what you know, you won't be thanking me. And rightfully so.